You know what really grinds my gears? Stupid sexy Flanders! Ow, my leg! This is the worst pain ever! Go! Go!
And here we have Duff Light, and our newest flavor, Duff Dry. What does the future hold for Duff? Let's just say we've got a few ideas up our sleeve.
Like what?
I'd rather not get into it right now.
Why not?
All right. We don't have any ideas for the future. We got nothing. Happy?
No.
I bring you love.
Is that the love between a man and a woman, or the love of a man for a fine Cuban cigar?
I bring you love.
It's bringing love. Don't let it get away.
Break his legs!
Bancroft, what's going on?
Lucky I remembered this show was on.
What? I told you yesterday. I asked you
I
on
know,
your
but
show.
I was like, I couldn't remember. It was 5:15 or 5.
I swear, every single
That's
week,
probably late.
my wife asks me what time my streams are. I'm like, at the same times as they were last week. Rob,
Yeah, but when was the last time we did this?
A month ago. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I will say hello to the chat, Bancroft, because I, unlike you, are not too big for my boots now. Plus, there's a lot less people here. Hyper Wizards in the house. Good to see you, dude. Jolly Green. You asked me about Replicator in YouTube. It's probably going to be June, man. Honestly, the way things are going, just waiting on all these artists. Something Bancroft doesn't.
I'm thinking June anyway, not for that reason, but because of taxes. The taxes, remember the taxes. The finger thing means the taxes. Yeah, our financial year ends in June. And I was like, do I want to make a massive headache for myself having to start a company and put funds into into that? And it's like, all right, just wait until June and then keep doing it as I've been doing it.
Yeah, like I want to have everything ready. I don't want to launch or without all the things in place. So it is what it is. All right. I know it's a frustrating. Jeremy Burst in the house, member. Thank you, Jeremy.
Is it frustrating?
It's so frustrating. You just want to headbutt people. Some kid pushed my daughter over at school today. I was filled with murderous rage, Bancroft. Like, I know we're not allowed to pick up kids and throw them against the wall because I'm like, that's not allowed. But
I don't get that feeling. It's the rough and tumble of growing up. Like, all right, lodge that in your brain.
Shanth, $10. You legend.
Shanth and Jetty's alive? Oh my
Yeah.
God. I thought he'd passed on to the next world.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a second, Shanth. Let me get through these chats. And, you guys, I'm going to go extra slow today just because, it's first time back in a while.
For you?
So
wow, this is going to be a 5-hour stream if you're going slow.
Slow times 2. We'll figure that out. Jay Ryan says, Rob is an acquired taste, but now I hunger. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to read the comment that you said afterwards because that takes away all the good things you just said there. Mo's in the house, some person. Scrolling down. Joe Rose here. Good to see you, man. D's in the house. He's got bigger boots. He's got giant boots. Lord
boots
Nemesis.
are pretty big. They're Ugg boots.
EVS raid. Well, that would be nice. Oh, yeah, look, heaps of people have popped in here. That's great. Slipstick.
Did EVS finish?
Mike TV dub.
Dare he?
Jolly Green says, how far along on the book do you hope to be at launch? Dude, we've got like 30 plus pages done of pencils and inks. So it's colors and it's covers at the moment that I'm waiting on. Norton Rad's in the house. Shanth for 10. Thank you so much, man. Much appreciated. I heard you're sick too. Hope you're doing better. Jasper's in the house. Did your daughter beat him up? No, we're going to have to teach her that. It's like she's just...
My daughter is Oceania Jiu-Jitsu yellow belt champion. That's why it doesn't bother me when she gets pushed.
Yeah.
Just put a Kimura on their ass.
we gotta get that happening. Bretsky the Great, I can't even say that word. Anonymity. It doesn't come out of my mouth right.
Anonymity.
Yeah, yeah.
Just say
I
T2.
T2. Yeah, that's it. Going forward. 6 Ways to Sunday. Disturbing, Rob. You're an adult. What? Throwing kids into walls? Tell me you don't think about that. Dave Brinks in the house. I got perfect 10. Perfectly packaged. Arrived perfectly. Zaid's in the house. He's launched. Oh, Jesus. Lost Pages 3. God, it went away for a second
there,
there.
Rob.
Mate, I'm telling you. Rob
It's one of two books, really. I know he did do CG Vacation, so.
I think CG Vacation is the underrated book of the year. Justice says, I received Arca 3 and 3. Early bird price was $10. God damn, that's good. That's good. I got members happening over here. It's too much, guys. It's too much for my first time back. Purple Cypher's here. Angela Curry, good to see you. Voyager. Yes. Mo has it. Rob, just teach your daughter how to construct a flaming arrow. Do you know how to do that, Bancroft? Have I taught you the marvels of fire arrows?
I mean, imagine that you just. No, you haven't actually. I was just thinking about how do you actually light an arrow on fire and get it to stay.
Oh well,
Yeah, you'll have to show me.
There's a trick to it. Canto Hair's in the house. BLT's here. That's a lot. Do you think that's enough now? I think that's enough.
It's probably enough.
Stephen Rockwood's here. Phantasmagorical. Erica Winberg. Buck Nasty. F76.
Always say you're gonna end and then say a couple more, and then they'll go like, "Oh, I thought I had been missed," and then they feel special.
Okay, member chats. D has crying Rob emoji, angry Rob emoji, blowhead, brains out of head emoji. Shant says on the man, Hale Brothers, and D is gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend.
Hale D.
This is my favorite clip, and we're going with this.
That's right. Now, say my name.
D. That's a good love that shit. You love it. Okay.
All right.
So the trick to making fire arrows, Bankrupt, is you need polystyrene.
Oh, we're actually doing it now.
You need polystyrene, right? And you melt that. I can't remember if it's terps or metho, but you mix it together and it makes like this sludge that I think is called napalm, but it's not actually like the napalm. It's just like that's what they call it. And then you get like a rag and you strip that into bits and you wrap it around the arrow and Bob's your uncle. How do you feel about that?
I won't be doing that.
Okay, just me.
I feel like you saying that on YouTube is gonna get you put onto some kind of list.
I'm on all the lists as it is.
That's right. Now, say my name.
Jim Cox, legend.
Wow,
5
people
more
are happy to
memberships.
have you back, Rob.
I'm happy to be here. Lethal Diva says reported stream for incite and violence. Yeah, good. Get that violence happening. What's news, Bancroft? I've been gone for a month. Fill me in, man.
In that time, literally years have passed in Comicsgate. So I'm just gonna have to go to CG now and kind of. So when did you first start your transition?
The fuck? My transition to what?
Oh, I thought you transitioned.
Oh,
that's
my
why you've been
God.
gone so long. We haven't seen you in what, a month? Did you say?
A month, yeah, man. It's
so.
Crazy.
Were you there for the launch of Chrome Dogs?
No.
Oh wow, going back. Yeah, you've been gone a long time. Holy cow! So Egg Beater launched Chrome Dogs.
Yes.
The Steins.
I saw Egg Beater.
Bonds. You saw Egg Beater. Okay, so you must have
Beater.
dipped out at the very beginning of February. Bonds happened. So that was Red Gaze. He came back for like a 1 day only.
Right.
Stop demeaning Roberta. Stop dead naming Roberta, says Mobix. I know, right? No Cover launched.
Missed that.
There's a funny story about that. And no, that was bad. Yeah. Because you know, Ethan does his thing. He's just like, there's a stream happening. We're launching No Cover. And Sierra obviously is our best Twitterer. So everyone was aware that this was happening, that No Cover was launching. And, it was a big thing. And then, Ethan's just like, I guess he put the Comicsgate, he put the link in the Comicsgate Kings room. So all the people who normally are on Kings jump in, and Jimmy Reyes jumps in, and they're just gabbing or whatever. And Jimmy just lets slip, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes into the launch of No Cover. He's like, and maybe we can talk about Dragon Rage. It's just launched. And Ethan's like, what? And he's like, what? Yeah, I launched it an hour before the show. It's live, everyone. Maybe we can talk about that too. And Ethan's just like, what? What are you doing? And I don't know if it was brought up ever again. But so that was one way to do it. I don't know if that was the best way. But it's since gone on. I mean, I think it's over 10K now. But that happened. The boys, someone was mentioning the mail-in cut is going crazy on the CG what do you call it, merchandise thing that Ethan's running. Like that's sort of like been a big surprise event.
Right.
They sold 1,100 mail-in cuts. You know what the mail-in cut is?
Fuck, 1,100.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's John Malin's original written story with all the gamer words in it. So that's been going crazy. And Ethan said today, like, he was expecting like, it's hats and stuff like that, like 25,000 or whatever. But I think they just passed 100 tonight. So that happened.
Hang on, let me get these, and Jasper's dropped some fire in the chat. I want to grab that too. Eric Winberg for 2 says, "Let's go!" And Paul Ogg for 20. Thanks so much, man. Welcome back and have some unvaxxed US dollars. Jasper says, "I don't think Jimmy's going to be around after this campaign period." God damn.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Jasper loves throwing a little bit of salt in the air. Let's just say that. What do you think?
It's Jasper. Jasper's gonna Jasper.
Jasper's gonna Jasper. Exactly.
Jasper says things that others are too afraid to say. That's what he does. So Lost Pages 3 launched in the middle of the month.
Can we just pause on that, filling me with the rest thing? Because I got a question for you. And it's for the chat too, because I've been away. Do you think Malin's happy about the No Cover campaign or not happy about it?
I think he's,
or it doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't. I don't think he gets anything from it.
Yeah.
So he's just like, it was pretty funny when they first launched it. They kept saying legally distinct from John Malin. That was the whole meme. But then he, John comes on and he keeps pointing out all the ways that it's not legally distinct. Like they literally have Malin written MALIN on his letterbox. So I think Diva's right. I think he's amused by it, maybe a little bemused by it, but Malin's been in pretty good spirits of late, so that it probably means he's getting close to finishing Godlike. He showed off the cover to that yesterday.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it looks pretty rad.
Oh, awesome.
It looks rad.
Do you want to read this? Do you want to read this one from Mo?
Mo says, "Did you guys know that Jimmy knows Dave Finch?" I did know that. Yeah. I think he's mentioned that a couple of times. Don't you guys get me in trouble with Jimmy. I'm gonna have Jimmy on. Jimmy will be on my channel in about a week or so.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that happened. Lost Pages launched. I missed that one too.
And that was massive. So they launched it on their channel. They got 2 hours. It was going great. Jumped over onto my channel.
Like launching on.
What's that?
massive
No,
brass
no.
balls.
They've got a good
Yeah, but I mean, like,
show over there.
you're a really good launcher, though. You know.
Well, I still put on the show. I still did pretty much the show that I would normally do. It just didn't have the countdown. We spent the whole time just reading out back and numbers and going through it, and yeah, it was really fun. It just went off. So I don't know what they got on first day. I can't remember, but it was way bigger than what they'd normally get. So they've just continued to, like, this is a winning streak for them. Like,
Yeah,
every campaign outdoing the last. So yeah.
Did I hear Phil say that they broke 18K on day one? Is that what I heard?
It's possible. It's absolutely possible. It was like, I mean, look, there's no way to say this without, like, it being an insult sandwich, but the first Lost Pages, like, art-wise, was a very mixed bag.
Yeah.
You got Joe Ball in there with, I think there was Maxi Dallo, I think Dan Dahl. Anyway, it was a very mixed bag of artists, so it wasn't as cohesive. Now they've got Dan Dahl and they've got I can't remember, Ricardo. And it looks
Jamie.
Completely
plus they have the guy that did my trading card colors. He's a beast.
Yeah. And I mean, and then they've got this they put all of that stuff into a little tome thing, and it's all grayscale. So all that stuff that previously was a little bit jarring next to each other, you go from black and white to color to, like, it's all seamless now. Yeah, they crushed it. So that was pretty exciting for a few days. And I think it's still going. He says, we're just at 19,000 now, he said. He had 102 viewers in the launch show. Yeah, I think we had 150 or something on my show. So it was, like, pretty big.
You don't need to put him down like that, Mike. I mean...
No, I'm saying it's getting better and better and better.
He's saying, I still had 50 more people than you know. Jim Cox says, a creator will be a fool to skip being on EBS's channel when he can. What's that in reference to, Jim? That sounds interesting. Nolan, dude, I don't deserve this. Thank you so much, man. For $50, he says, welcome back, Rob. We've missed you. That felt weird. Yeah, it always does with me, doesn't it?
Maybe Jim was just saying, like, Jimmy's been having a hard time. Jimmy Reyes on.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like, he's getting called out. The memes are starting to flow. But I'm sure, regardless of the bants and the ribbing, that it's doing great for his
the rimming
his campaign. Ribbing.
Oh, right.
Isn't that?
Mo says, can we have one stream where Bancroft doesn't besmirch color art? No, apparently not. Yeah, just on the Lost Pages, I honestly think this, and it's probably not accurate, but I think Phil and his brother have put together some of the best artists going around, full stop. Like, that aren't drawing books themselves, like hiring artists, they've got some of the best guys. It's amazing. Yeah, he's doing really well. Justice says, Jimmy's exit on yesterday's show was bad manners. It seems a weird one, though, man, because, like, Jimmy's on Kings all the time, so you think that he just mentioned, hey, Ethan, I'm going to launch the book this day, before Kings, so Ethan would know. Yeah?
Having played poker for a long time, it's the same thing there. There's table etiquette, it's called. And not everyone gets it straight away. It takes some time. And I think that happens to streams too. And there's a sort of, like, getting a lay of the land. Now, a lot of people in CG build their way up to bigger shows. They start on shows where there's 5 people watching, and then there's 20 people, and then there's 30. For a lot of these Kings, they jump into a show that's 1,000 people.
Yeah, it's
So
tough, dude. It
it's
is
like
tough.
you're learning all this stuff in front of 1,000 people. Every little thing you do gets memed. You know, Ethan is this larger than life personality. Yeah, Ethan was in the middle of one of his most epic rants in years last night. Like it was like I downloaded it as soon as I could. And kind of in the middle of it, Jimmy was like, "Oh, I've got a reservation for a restaurant." And Ethan was like, "Nobody cares. Get out of here."
Wow.
I was
Jesus.
like, and he apologized for it later, but he also said, but that kind of did piss him off. It's like that's not how you like if you got to go, just go. If that's what's happening, just I mean, there's 10 people in there, just slip out.
Yeah, yeah. It's tough, isn't it? Like, what is like the rules there? Like, when you have to leave, do you just leave, or do you like say
When there's 10 people on the
doesn't matter, you just go.
thing, and the host is in the middle of an epic rant, yeah, you just pop out. No one will like. It's fine.
Yeah, you like, and as well, like when someone's on a spiral or like a massive rant, just let them go. Let them go the whole way.
Yes, for
And
my
then
sake.
at the end,
So that I can edit the audio cleanly and not have to get things out because people are going, everyone's wants to put in their 2 cents.
yeah. No, you got to let them go with it, and just at the end, because like if he's chucking comments in during it, it throws them off and they lose their track, and it's just not great. Okay, so lost pages happened. What else happened? Was there any drama? Oh, this is, Bancroft, does this happen to you when you're sick and you're like, you think you have a good idea and it's just not a good idea when you get better?
Go on.
So I was thinking, because you know how the whole Mandy drama happened and with the nudes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So this is just so bad. I was thinking it would be
in a
really
fever dream.
it would be really funny if I said I've got the nudes that Mandy has, and then I showed Shane and it was a potato, and I showed Malin and it was a wolf, and I showed Camel and it was a camel.
That's
I
just like a
showed
dad
you.
joke.
Yeah.
What would I have been?
I was just gonna get someone with a really big forehead.
Yeah.
For you.
That's just a dad joke. Good thing you didn't go through with that.
Good thing.
I mean, pretty embarrassing that you told everyone on the stream you were thinking about it, but
Hey, could be honest, Tommy. Dave says some people can't read the room on live shows, yet it doesn't often mean they're authentic. My beautiful Fago Tree says, "Thank you for not doing that, Rob."
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Awkward. Phil says, "Go back and hibernate for another few months." After I just gave him such a beautiful compliment. Unbelievable.
So probably the biggest drama was that Liam closed his YouTube channel.
Again?
No, he actually deleted it.
Oh.
Like last time, I think he just got rid of all the videos. This time it's deleted. But although I do think you can bring it back after, until 90 days or something. So, that sort of created a stir over on the, JDA's corner. But other than that, I guess it's been pretty quiet.
I've got a question for you, right? So Hyperwizard said before, I don't know where it's gone. He said something like, even if I got a link to Ethan's, I wouldn't go on it now, right? Obviously, because he feels he doesn't have the experience or whatever. So the question is, like, if you're a small-time creator or a small creator, we know everyone hates that word, and you get a link, do you go on or do you wait, Bancroft, until you've like developed your streaming game somewhat?
Yeah, because you've seen people stumble. Like,
oh man, we've seen train wrecks.
We've seen train wrecks, but I don't think like
I don't know how
a stumble can be just as disconcerting for a new creator like Eric Nienoltowski, which is a good segue because he also launched as well. He launched Shadow Sentry Origins. He famously went on to Ethan's just because Ethan remembered him and sent him a link, and then he was like he jumped off to go have dinner, and that's sort of like going to haunt him for the rest of his days.
For months. Yeah,
and I don't think he ever got back on. But yeah, look, no, there's people who aren't great on streams. They try really hard to be funny and they're not, or they say really awkward things, or they just don't do anything, and there's just not really. Yeah, and that kind of, that's sort of become a meme with Donald, but everyone knows Donald, and that's like no one's going to Donald for his streaming prowess. Everyone understands that he's just like I don't know what to do on a stream. Whereas
I got on there, Mike, when I first came in, and I managed.
Yeah, no, you were like a deer in headlights.
I managed to survive. I don't know how, but I did manage to come out the other end okay.
Yeah. Jasper's asking if you were around for the Gem Shock drama. Yeah, you were there for the start of that.
Yeah. That was fun, wasn't it? Nornrad says, you go on, don't pass up the opportunity. God, yeah. I don't know, mate. What do you think? Take your shot and just don't be a fool, NTM says. Case by case.
Look, I think it's probably best you take a shot. Try not to say anything completely dumb and memeable and lol cowish. But not many people like that. This is we are seeing a 1 in 1,000 question. Like, how many people are just getting yanked onto Ethan's stream randomly? Not many. Most people are going to be going up through the various streams and getting some experience there anyway. So it's not like this is a really big issue.
Lethal Diva says, not survive, Rob. You also managed to inspire upcoming talents like Michael Bancroft and Camel Moon to reach levels of greatness as well. Yeah, you must have watched me, Bancroft, and be like, how the fuck is this guy on Ethan's show? What the fuck is going on?
I do remember thinking that, yes.
Perth says, Rob, end this stream if you do not get a super chat in the next minute.
Yeah, like Camel did that. So that
Camel
was,
shit.
Is that drama? I don't know. Everyone loves to turn everything that Camel does into drama.
I think it's the way he goes about it, though. He's very just like, fuck this, and just end shit.
He does things his own way. He goes to the beat of his own drum. I tell you what, it worked. The next day, I went into like 3 streams and people were talking about it in the chat. So got those tongues wagging.
I don't know, man. I think Camel can get away with that. I don't know if anyone else can do that. Mo says Rob got on Ethan's show because Ethan thought he was someone else. He still does. Dave says, do you ever have guests or panel members that make you feel embarrassed? Definitely. There's definitely been times that I felt embarrassed. The Bluetooth stream, for example. That was kind of like living through trauma, and only
that was
afterwards,
pretty awkward.
Only afterwards you can reflect on it, and it was actually pretty funny. But at the time, it was pretty horrendous.
I got around that by having an hour-long show. So even if it's, a little uncomfortable, it's only for an hour. And it's not even an hour because, it's 5 to 10 minutes of intros and you can usually wing it a bit at the end. So, yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone in particular that has been really cringe or embarrassing or inappropriate, or I don't know. We play pretty fast and loose over here, Bancroft. I mean, we do say some pretty average things. Got 90 people in here. Amazing.
Who says average things?
We all do. Say things that we shouldn't say, Oh, he did not, Jasper, did he? It was funny when Corey Barton popped into Ethan's channel introducing himself by saying Rob Arnold gave me the lead. He fucking better not have said that. He probably did though. Yeah. Pete Callan for 5. Thank you so much, man. The hardest part on being on EVS stream is finding the right time to speak. Luckily, if EVS likes you, he'll lob softballs your way. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Mike and I have talked about this heaps, like on the stream, but going on those streams when there's like 8 other people is rough.
Yeah.
What are you meant to do?
I'm not good at it. Like you got to be on par with Cecil and John and Shane, and it's just,
and it's not
tough.
even,
it ain't easy.
It's not even like being as funny or as, you know, insightful or whimsical as those guys. They have a rapport that they've built over like years of playing off each other. Even if you are really funny, which, you know, I'm not, just sliding into that slot with that many people is
you're like the dude at a bar and all the good friends are hanging around. You just kind of like elbow your way in and stand in the middle of everyone. Hey, how you going, guys? They're just looking at you.
Matter of timing. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things. Like John has said, like previously, you can just sit back and throw in one good liners every now and then, and that might be all you can really do. But yeah, Dave says 8 is 3 is 3 too many. I think 4 is probably.
I think 4 is the limit for me, where I feel like I'm part of it. Otherwise, it's just you're just kind of sitting there waiting to strike, and I never really just relax with more than 4.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, but I used to be fine doing it when I'm fine doing it when I'm the host, but when you're not the host, it's trickier.
4 guests and a quiet host. Timing is flow is so cringe. Yeah. All right. What else happened, Bancroft?
So then there was the launch of Shadow Sentry Origins, the Mythicals,
yes,
and I Vengeance.
I watched a launch of yours today. I did some homework. It was rough. It was rough, Bancroft.
I don't know why everyone's like, it was rough. It wasn't rough. I don't feel bad. I think the chat had an interesting time.
How were the chat?
It certainly
during that
wasn't.
One?
Are you talking about I Vengeance?
I Vengeance, yeah.
So this is Joe, aka Az Cactus Comics, who's been in CG way longer than you, Rob. Way longer. Like OG CG. He was there before it was called Comicsgate. And and I remember when Ethan said this, it was in, I think, 2019, early 2019. Ethan said, you don't need to have a mailing list. That's for when you've already fulfilled one and now you want to see who wants to come back. And I remember when he said it, everyone in the chat was like, nah, that's not right. Like, I think you should have a mailing list. Also, factor in EVS is EVS. At that time, he was a 27-year comic book veteran who left at the top of the ladder of comics and then went straight into the boom period and pretty much became the biggest name. Well, he became the biggest name in Comicsgate. So yeah, like his approach isn't what everyone should be doing, essentially. So but anyway, Joe heard that and he was like, that's what I'm doing. Like, Ethan knows what's best, so I'm gonna follow Ethan's thing. So fast forward 4 years. I don't think he has a particularly large Twitter following either. He'd been sending me these pieces of art and they were all of them like amazing. You know, Rob Willis and a lot of amazing art. And I was like, dude, this is hot fire. Are you gonna like do something with this? And he's like, yeah, I'll launch it a bit. Anyway, the time came to launch and it was getting close. And I was like, are you gonna promote your book? And he's like, yeah, I gotta. Anyway, 2 days before launching, he starts tweeting. Now imagine I didn't retweet any of them.
Yeah.
And he has like I don't know how many he has, mate. 400 or 500 Twitter followers, this is like, okay, now this is a tough sell. But thankfully they did, because just the sheer quality of the art was so good. They did get a little bit of traction, but still, it doesn't matter, because I think Hyperwiz had said at the time, you need to see something multiple times before you're going to decide whether, oh yeah, that's something I want to get invested in. So it was pretty much launching a book, first time ever, pretty much sight unseen. No one knew anything about it. No one had seen it before. No one really knew who Az was. So yeah, it's he didn't get many. I think he got 6.
But what happened to your rule of you have to have 100 mailing list signups to come on the show?
Well, I've known him, Twitter known him for 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been DMing each other for ages. He didn't have a mailing list. You can't have 100 on the mailing list if he doesn't have a mailing list.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the point, isn't it? Like you need to have one.
Well, either way, one thing everyone took away from that stream was the importance of having a mailing list. Like, done. The science is settled on that. When Ethan said that back in 2019, he was wrong. Maybe for himself he was right, but he's the only one. Even Ripper had a mailing list in the end. Remember, he got like 30,000 on the list in 2 days or something.
It was crazy, yeah.
So yeah.
Pete for 2. Wait. Rob, you were gone. You know I was gone, Pete. You know I was gone. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Ethan is amazing at what Ethan does, and it works for Ethan, but it's not going to work for everyone else. That's for sure. Like, a mailing list is so important.
I think that we do this YouTube stuff. Those of us who are making comics, we do this YouTube stuff to sell our comics so that we can get a mailing list. Because the mailing list is the money. Like, that's where I think a lot of people make a lot of money from. Unless you've, again, Ethan's different. Ethan has that show where he can get, 1,200 people and sometimes more on a big night there. And that'll obviously work. But I think for most people, build up that mailing list. Like, I think I've got 2,000 people on mine now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is money.
Yep.
So it's sort of like, that's what it's all about.
Maromi says, if you can't stream, the mailing list is the only thing left. It's so true, man. It really is. Like, if you cannot do YouTube, mailing list is so important. Shane Davis says, who's that guy on the left? Who's it's me. I've been sick, man. I've been sick for a month.
Forgot him.
Nolan says, it seemed like he was just expecting CG to get it done for him, but I've since backed him after seeing him make the rounds bit. Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's like he was expecting things. I didn't see it like that. I think he had his plan, and that's what he was going with. And yeah, like I long ago stopped trying to tell people what they should and shouldn't be doing. So look, the book looked great. His 100% Comicsgate, been here since before the beginning. Give him a shot. So well, we found out, probably stealth launching, ninja launching isn't the best send off for your thing that you've been working all these years on.
Dude, how many times have we talked about ninja launches and just how terrible an idea they are? People are committed to learn these things for themselves, and I think we're all the same in certain things in our life. We think that, I was going to say there was something before this. Oh, and one thing too is this is hard. This part, Bancroft, because like the part where you are ready to press the button and make sure it actually goes live, you don't know if you've got it all filled out correctly until you hit that button.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a balancing act. but I mean that
was a
kind of just
record.
sucks the wind out of the sails, doesn't it? When
It happens, you make fun of it and it happens, and you get it done. I think we got 27 minutes in, but it all becomes part of the charm. It is what it is.
Do you want to read this one from Mo? He's very keen on
it got rough for a while. Rob was even declared brain dead at one point. Then they contacted his regular doctor, and he said, "No, that's just Rob. That's just Rob."
Steve Rocker says, "Oh no, the sickness affected Rob's brain. It sure did. It sure did. Fire is hot, Shane. Fire is hot,
and water is wet." Good points. Very good points.
Bancroft, you know how I've been sick, and I think about just random things, right? So I've got another one for you.
Oh, goody. I missed these.
The chat, you guys feel free to answer this as well. And let's say you're the world's best assassin, Bancroft. The world's best.
Mm-hmm.
What gender are you? Are you female or are you male? And do you need me to break down why I think there's a question there? I reckon
I think I can figure it out.
Okay.
Well, because we're horribly misogynistic, we assume that most of the important people in the world are going to be men. So it's probably going to be easy to get to them if you're a female.
That's what I think.
Yeah. But then
trans female.
But then if it's real life, take into account that it's not the movie where you're not Black Widow. You can't just fight big guys just because you've done some karate lessons. So you better be pretty handy with a knife or a gun.
Non-binary. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what are you going with?
Well, I'd still probably be male though, because I don't want to be a female. If I was a female, then I'd have to do dudes. And I don't want to do dudes.
See, I didn't go into that much thought about it. I'm just like,
Rob's like, yeah, I'll be a woman. Bring me the dick.
Jason Statham in a wig. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. All right, what else has been going on? What about chat? What have I missed? What else has happened that is of note that you want to tell me about?
I had 2.6 million views this month on YouTube.
Dude, remember how I was not that sick last Monday? Like not the one just gone, but the one before
you came back for a little bit. We thought you were back, but then you weren't.
And I was talking to you after the stream. I'm like, yeah, for the amount of work that you do on your channel, you've only got like 4,000 subs more than me, and I don't do anything. And then I looked today and you're at like 6,500. Did you go up like 1,000 subs in a week? What happened?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty crazy. I had a bunch of videos go viral. And it was funny because they were all of different topics. So two of them were Hogwarts Legacy. That was just like, you could tell everyone and their dog were doing Hogwarts Legacy videos. Like I did 3 or 4. Yellow Flash did about 50. Wow. Clownfish did about 3 a day. But I don't want to be a Hogwarts Legacy channel. So I kept it pretty, it was all related to cultural stuff. So that went viral. There was a Flash one went viral, and then a comic book one did as well. So yeah, that was good.
What does Ezra Miller have on Hollywood to be cast as the Flash? Like seriously.
Well, that was my how
has he managed that?
That's like got like 700,000 views.
Not only that, it seems like he's playing himself and another version of himself in the movie. So it's like twice the Ezra Miller. It's like how?
Yeah, you get 2 Ezra Millers. Oh, people are looking forward to it because of friggin' what's his face? Michael Keaton coming back. I'm not interested, but people are. So yeah, it was like, we got Shane here in the chat. He actually mentioned this the other day. I think it was on Kings. It was like, we got to, get better at YouTube, get bigger. And I agree. Yeah, like I tell you, it's been a wild ride. It's been a very wild ride. I get called a bigot a lot more than I used to. I get told to go touch grass, but I don't
What does
care.
that mean? What's
Oh, it
touch
means you're
grass
like,
mean?
it means you've got no life and you're a loser and you need to get out of the house.
Right.
But I don't care. Yeah. And the thing is, it only took about a month of doing these things regularly to sort of get that moment going. So I saw Perth saying this makes me want to get into shorts. Yeah, get into them. Imagine we had a whole bunch of YouTube, CG YouTubers out there getting millions of views a month. Like I've been doing most of them, well, pretty much all of them on sort of general pop culture things that people are interested in. But I did do one where I was talking about Comicsgate, and I think it just passed 4,000 views, which that's pretty good. So like I'm talking about, how Comicsgate was right, how they've been proven right. And yeah, 4,000 views on that one. So yeah, like this is a way to get into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into it soon. Now that I'm better, I'm gonna make it happen. I got your book, Bancroft, that I showed off yesterday on your show. Great, looks awesome, man. Nice little package.
The print came out well. The magnets look great. Mel will actually have, I think, pretty much all of them sent out tomorrow. I just have to sign a few more tonight, and then I think we'll be done. So yeah, that'll go up on CG now.
And Mel's going away this month, yeah?
Yep. The 16th.
Wow.
I'll be all on my lonesome. What am I going to do? How am I going to feed myself? I'm going to mow the lawn.
We should, Jasper. What are you doing, Jasper? Fire up a stream, Shane. No, do not do that. Do not do that. He's going to go do that now. Thanks, Jasper.
He totally will. He did say he was bored.
Yeah, he's bored. Read it, Robert. Super cool. The one saying touch grass is probably Mel wanting to make sure she doesn't come home to a jungle in the backyard.
Just, she'll feel better when she cuts the grass and it all looks great.
Rob Shorts can just be him asking his random as fuck questions.
Imagine if you got famous doing that. It's this Australian guy who just asks the most bizarre questions. You've got to watch it. It's so bizarre. Could happen.
Oh my, that's a great idea. I could do that.
Because what you want to do, what I've noticed is, like, don't worry about being right. Just say stuff. And then what'll happen is people will argue with you in the comments.
Yeah.
And what happens then is your thing starts going viral because you got all these comments of people saying, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. So you could get the same effect, but it's like people saying, oh no, I'd much rather be a dude assassin or whatever. Or, whatever you asked yesterday.
Is it worth just taking like a position on a topic and taking like the opposite position? So like with the whole Hogwarts Legacy thing, right? And how like trans people like ban this game, it's terrible, blah 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 blah. Is it worth doing something like that? It doesn't have to be the same topic, but like for us on our level.
You're gonna have to.
No, I can't be bothered.
Explain that to me in a way that
I
understand.
What is the Australian equivalent of a Mexican? I don't know.
A New Zealander?
Maybe.
Yeah, they come here and I guess they sort of... no, not really. We probably don't have one. They didn't bring any cool food with them, that's for sure. They didn't bring tacos.
understand Robocopter's question? Nah, no one did.
No.
That's why top 5 lists are so popular, because it engages people, can be clickbait too. Yeah, I'm going to do one on why comics are failing and why manga's destroying comics. People
Hey, that's
love
a
you,
good
Shane.
idea.
People love you, Shane. I don't even want
Yeah,
to try.
I'm doing them, and everyone's thinking I'm a big manga rah guy now. But I'm just trying to point out what comics could be doing but aren't.
There's no filter for comics. There's no way to get you from one thing to the other thing. Like, so for example, right, with manga, do you know how many manga I've gone and read just by themselves, like in a store, bought? 0. But I have watched anime, lots of anime, and then I've gone on to read the manga from there. Comics
Yeah,
don't
that's
have
another
that.
point that I will be bringing up.
They just don't
I'll be
have
making
that.
short about.
And it's like, you've got all these movies that do billions upon billions of dollars, but does it funnel into comics at all? No, man. Nothing. So stupid.
This is Rob's back at it. This has been Rob, figuring things out that everyone else figured out 4 years ago.
Yeah, but like, they should have given everyone a comic when those movies started. Like, it comes with your ticket. They could have even done the post-credit scene as a comic.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, you're wrong.
It's a bit off the wall.
Why is that off the wall? That's a brilliant idea. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right. What else you got?
What do you mean? This is your show.
Yeah, but I've been gone for a month. You're meant to be filling me in. That's the idea of what's happened. Yeah, like, what good cartoons have come out of Marvel and DC since X-Men and Batman in the 90s?
Well, they got a new one. It's the Gargoyles. Is that it?
Gargoyles is like is a really old one, unless they're doing a new version of it.
They're doing a new one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Rob's not here, Dave. Rob away. We know that. That's okay. We like him anyway.
Nolan says, usually because it's a direct adaptation of the source material rather than a modern retelling updated for current audiences. The Avengers cartoon was amazing. The Spider-Man cartoon, Wolverine, and the X-Men, there's a lot. Do you think so? I don't know, man. They did do like an animated version of the X-Men, which was pretty shit, actually. Some of the movies have been good. Yeah. But how does that transition into comics? It just doesn't. It's just like, Cecil does that incredible rant where he tells people, I'm not going into it.
I don't think they're bothered. I don't think they care all that much if the comics sell or not, frankly.
Camel says, just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean they never happened. Well, it might as well not have.
That's Rob's entire political and ideological stance. That's his worldview. If I don't know about it, did it happen?
No.
And he'll come back. He'll come back in 5 years' time and he'll say, have you seen this Ant-Man shit? Oh, it fucking sucked. Did you see that MODOK? Oh my god. And we'll go, yeah, Rob, where were you? And it's like, oh, I don't know. I was doing something.
Joe Ryan says, and the reality is the anime based off the manga are considered a commercial for the manga and not the other way around. Yep. I mean, just killing it. Absolutely killing it. Should we look at some of the campaigns while we're talking Baker Ups or not? You just don't like doing that anymore, do you?
I mean, have them up. I don't know if we should be doing a shill show.
Okay.
Bring it up.
Love the D&D cartoon. I mean, they've got Arcane Bancroft, which is, your favorite show.
It is indeed. I slipped that in to one of my shorts. I called it a masterpiece of visual storytelling.
Some person says people seem to buy more things if it pisses others off. Just say comics will turn you into a badass ripped biker.
Yeah, the Hogwarts Legacy sold 850 million so far, and it's not even out, I don't think, on all platforms.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And plus as well, like, I think, what's that one that you love? What's that game you love?
Elden Ring.
Is that it? Yeah. That they put that out on like PlayStation 4 even.
Mm.
And I think there's still, 250 million active PlayStation 4 users. So it's, it's comparable to that, and it's not on PlayStation 4. So yeah, like it's that whole people buying through spite. Yeah, I think it's pretty real. I was saying, that you'd probably be clever to set something up of that if you can. If you can piss people off.
That was my question.
And seemingly like piss off the right people. So piss off the SJW side because they're loud and they're in high positions of power, but they're a minority. Like they don't actually buy anything. So piss them off all you want. It's not going to change anything. Whereas if you piss off the actual fans and the majority, then yeah, you get in trouble and you end up with, these low performing movies and TV shows. But yeah, I don't know. I guess they'll start doing this a bit more. You would have to think. I mean, $850 million is a lot of money for a game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hyperwizard says Rob plays Elden Ring. Played Elden Ring. I think everyone should play Elden Ring. It is, in terms of like world building and level design and creature and monster design, it is next level, man. It is just.
Is Elden Ring your Arcane?
Elden Ring fucking destroys Arcane. Arcane shit.
No, I mean like Rob, I'm saying I love Arcane. Is it like you love it in the same way, Elden Ring?
Yeah, it's honestly up there in turn, like probably one of the best games I've ever played. It really is, and I've never played any of those Dark Soul games before. It's on my list. Yeah, it's really good, man. It's really good. I don't think it is, man. I thought it was amazing. It's just like I wish I could forget that I played it and replay it again. That's how good it is. Elden Ring art over Arcane art. Arcane art.
People want me to get rid of that Patrick Neal guy. Is he being a nuisance in the chat? Let me know. He just seems to be just like posting weird shit.
Did you explore every nook and cranny? Yeah, that's the crazy thing, Bancroft. Like you go in this game, right? And you go up to like this house and you look in and there's a little lift on the floor and you go down this lift that goes for like 2 minutes and there's a whole other world down there. It is just amazing, man. You should really go check it out. Rob, now that you're back, are you going to write the Millionaire Snail of Death versus you and Bancroft drawn by Donald DeLay? Donald has done Cecil and is doing Mailing. Will you be next? It's tempting, man. I've actually thought about...
That would be so good.
I've actually thought about what the Millionaire Snail could do. He could get... You know how like in those... you get those miniature skateboards, Bancroft? Like those really small ones that kids
Clark's
have?
got one of them.
I was thinking he could get one of those. Right. And then he could get one of those little handheld fans and he could hold it on. Right. And he could use that to increase his speed like 1,000%.
How can he hold it?
Well, he'll use his snail butt slime to hold onto the fan. What do you think? I reckon it might be all right.
Yeah, but that's not a story. That's still just a.
Well, that's just a concept for what could happen in this amazing story.
Oh. A little harder. So that's a start.
Angela says, "Oh, that was cool." I don't know if she's talking about my story, but I'm going to go with that.
I don't think she was.
Yeah, she is. She is. Oh, Shane wants me to send him the link.
Oh, you're breaking format.
I haven't streamed with Shane in years. It's been a while.
Camel, lol, amazing story.
Oh,
I know, right? Have you ever heard of such a tale of intrigue?
I'll send him the link too, and we'll break format today, Jasper, because I'm not
Jasper's
100%.
not going to be happy. He was yelling at us last night for breaking format. I'm like, that's not even. This isn't even that show, Jasper.
Not even a show. Classic Rob. Thank you. No, I don't want it. Well, I sent it to you anyway, so you have it now. Post the link in chat. Damn. Jasper says he's okay for breaking format for Shane. There you go. That's the thing, Phil. Let's pull up some campaigns. I don't have any because I haven't been on the computer for a month. So Mike's going to have to do it, Mike.
No, I'm doing other stuff.
There you go. He doesn't care about your project, Phil.
I had him on my channel for an hour.
What have you done for him lately?
Retweeted him.
What have you done for him this minute?
Praise him to the hilt for his amazing book.
Oh, Camel's here. What's up, Camel?
Hello.
I thought you said you weren't coming on.
No, never said that.
No.
Never
Shut up.
Never said that, huh?
Shut up.
No. I said I didn't want the link. I didn't say I didn't want to come on. You sent the link.
Oh.
Right.
It's called doing you a favor because your show is struggling and you can't keep it together.
Yeah. He really has not, like, he's totally run out of all ideas. He has nothing left. I know when that happens.
He's like bankrupt. Do my show for me.
Yeah, he starts flamming. Like, and then he's like, but I've been away for a month. It's your, you should do this. I'm like, no, you've been away for a month. You've had a month to come up with a show.
I haven't done anything for 4 weeks. I don't want to do anything still.
So what's going on with you, Camel?
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm still working on my castle that I started yesterday.
What is that?
My Lego castle?
Is it an actual castle? It looks like a computer image.
It is. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm building it on the computer.
Okay. Can I show chat this?
Sure.
Well, I'm showing them anyway.
Oh, that's where it started. You know, now it's much better. It's bigger. Here, you can see it now.
I don't understand this though. Like, what's happened? Do you have all these pieces? Are you printing this? What is this?
No, I'm just building it here because I can't, build it in real life because I don't have the piece. You know how expensive this would be? But you can see, so this is like these are the photos.
How you going, Shane?
As we're going. And then, so it's like kind of just upgrading it. And then I'm changing, shifting, adding shit in different places.
Bye, Shane.
He's like, oh, Lego castles? I'm out.
Oh.
Yeah, you can actually. Cameron was telling me
sets.
You can actually like buy it after it's done if you want to spend $1 gazillion.
Yeah, you can get a piece breakdown and then it connects to a bunch of different websites, and then you can also make a instruction book if you want to do that. And you could essentially build this if you want to get it all together. Right now it's at over 1,000 pieces. So it'd be quite a bit of money, and it'll probably be closer to 4,000 or 5,000 pieces when I'm done.
So you've been working hard when I've been sick, I see.
Well, I mean, I did 15 pages of the X-Men number 0, and I want to rewrite the third act because I don't really like it. I was like, I'm gonna just take a break. I'm gonna just play with some Legos and clear my head. But it's only been, I don't know, 24 hours. So it's not like I spent 2 weeks on this or anything.
Everyone's leaving. Jasper's going. Mo's going. Do I just shut this down? Do I just shut this stream down right now?
I've done it.
Try it. See how it goes.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it when you do that.
That's it.
Do you literally have nothing else you want to say, Rob?
Dude,
you're back in CG.
I was expecting you to tell me everything that's happened, and it was going to be 2 hours.
What do you want to know? I did. I told you everything that launched. I mean, do you want me to give you a day-by-day breakdown of I mean, it's hard to remember every little thing. Ask the chat. Do you guys have anything that's happened in the last month that you want Rob to ask a question about?
This wasn't the return to streaming I was expecting, Mike. I was expecting
this is part of the course.
Sirens.
Oh yeah, your boy Zach. How about that? Your boy Zach attacked Doomcock. Now there's this whole discussion that's come about recently, and it all started when Gary from Nerdrotic said, I've watched Picard season 3 and it's actually good. Like they listened to what everyone has been complaining about with Star Trek, and they made a good show. Now he's seen the whole season. Other people haven't, because it's coming out and they drip feed it. And that sort of started a discussion across the different channels. It was like, okay, do you reward these people who are making these shows, who have given you nothing but SJW shit and hate on top of that? Like they've called you bigots and all that sort of stuff. Do you reward them by watching their shows now that they've, ostensibly corrected course? That remains to be seen for a lot of us. Or, as Ethan is taking this line, is fuck them. Until they completely abandon the social justice track, they get nothing. And then on top of that, disavow all this stuff that they've been going on about. Anyway, this is a debate that's now happening in this corner of the internet. Doomcock and Ethan are on that side. Very passionately and vehemently. And on the other side is your boy Zach, who's like, you guys are as bad as SJWs now. If you're just this black-pilled and you can't enjoy anything. So yeah, that's drama, isn't it? How about that? That's happened while you're gone.
That sounds incredibly boring.
Oh,
I mean, I'd rather watch Camel make Lego.
You'll be interested in it in 5 years.
Yeah, 3 years, I'll be like, did you hear about this Doomcock stuff? Eric Winberg for 2. Thank you so much, man. Doomy got a big helmet after being in She-Hulk.
I mean, that's pretty, you made it, I guess.
Zach is out of touch, says Finatra.
That's what a lot of people are saying. He's changed. And we know he'd already sort of Homer Simpson through the shrubbery away from Comicsgate, which I've always said is fine if you want to do. I know a lot of people don't like that. As long as you're not out there bad-mouthing CG, if you want to just quietly exit, I have no problem with that at all. But it's getting a little bit beyond that for some people now. I was watching Zach for a while again, but I just sort of, I don't know, he was just making videos about stuff I wasn't interested in, so I haven't really been paying attention to what he's been doing over the last 2 months or so anyway.
I don't know how popular he is anymore in CG terms. So you can see it in the chat here. So Slavic
in CG terms?
Yeah, in the CG, landscape.
Zach's numbers, he still gets about the same views as Ethan in terms of raw YouTube numbers.
But is that up or down in comparison to where he was?
I don't know. I don't have the data on that, but yeah, certainly within the CG crowd, he doesn't have a whole lot of influence. At least for the people that watch streams, I'd say.
Slavic One says, I never cared for Hack Zach. Dave says, I stopped following Zach a year ago. Zach hasn't been the same since settling with Wade. Shane is back. Good to see you, dude. How are you?
What is all this talk about Zach? Because they were talking about it on Ethan's.
I don't really know. I haven't really been following him. He is like, Zach will say things like the SJWs are worse than terrorists, which is probably hyperbole, but maybe there are some that are as bad as terrorists. But he's saying now that if you're so black-pilled that you won't allow yourself to watch like a TV show that is actually good, then you are worse than an SJW. That's pretty much his take. So that's sort of why a lot of people are like, no, that a lot of people are not going to give Disney any money. They're not going to give Paramount any money.
I'm such a kind of like when it comes to Star Trek and especially more Star Trek than Star Wars, but Disney, they don't own Star Trek, right? Because it wasn't that kind of the argument was the
Paramount.
Yeah. Paramount, yeah.
They're still infested by
the
social justice.
Right. I mean, Zach is like how many a video a day guy? Like, what is he, like 3, 2?
3 or 4. Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
Eventually, here's the thing, guys. Eventually, you're gonna run out of shit to talk about, and you just got to come up with something. Like, and at some point, you can't distinguish good views from bad views. You're just seeing clicks, and then eventually you're responding to, like, I don't know. Like, I get out of the house. I have hobbies. I step away from the computer. And I was thinking today, it's like, I wonder if everybody else does.
Get out of the house and touch grass.
Stuff, yeah, I'm not gonna say that. I mean, go to a boxing gym and hit somebody, hit a bag.
How many times a day do you get told to touch grass, Shane?
No, never.
Oh, I get it like 5 times a day these days.
It seems like a compliment to me. Like, go out and touch some grass, get some fresh air and some sunshine.
No, the implication being that you don't.
Yeah.
The implication being that you're that dude in South Park, like
in your basement. Okay.
Yeah.
Hitting refresh on Bleeding Full or Bleeding Cool to bitch about something all day. Like, I mean, that's me right there. I'm frothing at the mouth.
Yeah, you get that a lot. Like, why are you so angry, Shane?
That's actually been a thing. That's been a thing lately. I'm like, why is everybody saying I'm angry? Reenie's been doing that a lot. And I'm like, look, just because I don't have Pocky sticking out of my nose and I'm going to read doesn't mean I'm angry.
Yeah,
it just means I'm not you.
Yeah,
I get scared to watch TV shows of franchises that I've loved in the past now. Like, I'm scared to watch Star Trek because there's a good chance it's going to be shit and it's going to ruin how I feel about the franchise. You get that, Mike?
Well, I didn't watch Picard because I remember that's actually the first video I ever made, a commentary video, after the thing I did, the other one. So the second one I made, I should say. And yeah, it was Picard saying, oh yeah, we're doing this Picard thing and it's going to be about, hitting back against the era of Trump. And I'm like, oh no. So I was hesitant because I'm a pretty massive Next Generation fan, and then the people started showing things that were happening, and I was like, no, I'm not. There's no way I could watch this. But like, I think if you're one of those guys who, like those, the people who are on Friday Night Tights, like that's what they do, is they talk about these shows and like saying, hey, you should make this stuff better. If they do make something better, I'm not going to hold it against those guys if they go and watch it then, and support it, because they're essentially, those companies are doing what they asked them to do. So
okay, I have a concept in this argument here a little bit. Like, so let's say I'm supposed to boycott and just never look back at Disney or Star Trek or Star Wars or any of this stuff. All these IPs I just turn my back to and I never look back at. So what's supposed to be the effect of that? It just ceases to exist and everybody else is going to follow my lead in it. Like, I kind of get the protest part, and people want to do it. I mean, more power to you. But at the end of the day, like, how do you mock these things just by reading? To me, whether you're reading like a headline online or you actually sat down and watched it, you're still giving it the same attention. Like, I don't get the difference, because some people are like, just don't give these people your money, but but they still talk about it on YouTube because of an article or something. That's the same as watching it. In the end, result is you echoed the product to your audience one way or the other. Am I wrong? Or
I don't know, because I've started, it's become a big part of my day now. I don't really consume any MCU anymore, and that's coming from someone who was a pretty massive fan, like up until
that shit was good, man,
6
back
months
in the
ago.
day. Yeah, that was good back in the day. Like Iron Man, Winter Soldier.
I'm talking
really
even more
movies.
recent than that. Like, a lot of people rag on Endgame and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I lap that
Enjoyed
shit
it.
up.
They're
I'm
enjoyable.
not saying like they're the most amazing things ever. I'm like, I had fun watching them, and I watched them again. Whereas now, no, I haven't watched anything in forever, but I've talked about it. I've talked a bunch about it. But to me, I don't know, is it any different what I'm doing than what 100 or 1,000 other YouTubers doing, if the reason that I'm doing it is the hope to get more people over to see what we're doing, and hopefully, convert them into comic book fans, or like fans of what the books that we're making? Is that cynical? Am I like grifting? I mean, honestly, I don't think about it too much.
No, I don't think so, but that's kind of where this argument starts to go, is like, some people are starting to say you just flat out protest this. But a real protest would mean that you don't advertise them even to ridicule them. So I'm confused. Like, there's a hypocrisy here, and it's okay. Like, but like, I don't know if Zach is delving into it a little bit. Like, I don't know. The whole thing's like confusing to me, why it's an issue all of a sudden. Like, I mean, I gave up on the MCU stuff, and every now and then I'll talk about something, but for the most part, I don't really care. Like, I mean, like, I keep up with the headlines and articles, but that's about it. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't have the time to get invested in this stuff. Like, I probably should. I know, like, it'd be good for YouTube if I was more invested, but like, I don't know. You guys are young. You guys have plenty of time to watch this stuff. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that much. I don't know if I don't even know if I am younger than you, Shane.
Yeah.
You seen the gray in my beard?
No, you're younger than Shane, I think.
No,
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, it's that. I mean, that's really the whole thing of it. I think I've been doing this streaming thing for 3 years, and I think you get to a point where you've got to sort of jump out of the nest being the trying to essentially sort of siphon some fans off Ethan, and get more of Ethan's fans to watch you. And that is great. Like that works, but it only works up to a certain point, because Ethan only has so many fans himself.
Yeah, I know
And
what you're saying.
it's
You're
just sort
saying
of
get
like
off of Ethan's tit. That's what you're saying.
get off of Ethan. Well, I was saying more like get out of the nest. I didn't want to bring Ethan's tit into this.
You're
But
saying
like
quit nursing Ethan. I know what you're saying.
But you know, if you look at how Ethan and Zach both built their channels, what did they build them on? Ethan built his channel on you know, frustration with Star Wars and through Star Wars fans. Zach built his on you know, Marvel and DC, mostly Marvel, like Captain and like a little bit of America Chavez and, you know, Squirrel Girl and all that stuff. Like they built their audiences off criticizing this stuff. So I think I don't feel bad in any way continuing in that tradition by going out and doing the same thing, because I know that the goal I'm trying to do here is, you know, get more people here, you know, into these streams. John says, I built my channel on rock.
I know, I saw that. That's funny. Anonymity for 2. What is Camel playing? It's not a game. He's making a Lego castle, but what program is it, Camel? I've had heaps of people ask.
Oh, what is the name? I'll show you guys my castle. Here you go. The name of the program is, oh, I don't know. It just says Studio. I have no idea what it's called. This is Studio.
You know, it's the studio. You
Yeah,
the
Lego.
studio, you build your Lego.
I don't know. Brick Studio. I have no idea.
I agree with what you said, Michael. I personally don't have an issue with people ingesting this media to criticize the shit out of it, especially if they're doing it and monetizing it, because that's the least you could do is grow a channel and monetize it. But I mean, for me, I just don't watch it because I'm not interested. Like I just don't have enough hours in the day. Like because I'm like, I could be watching Marvel stuff. Like I'm rewatching this one show on Netflix for like the 3rd time, Dark, just because I want to get a fresh go without pausing it between seasons to see if I can grasp.
Is that the German one?
The one with time traveling? Yeah.
It seems really heavy.
I've tried watching
it
that
is super,
multiple times.
It's super heavy, but it's super like thought out. Like I don't.
Yeah, everyone says, oh, like they read the loose and like you would really love Dark. It's so, I'm like,
you probably would actually.
I think I would
go. It's dubbed and subtitled both, but the dubbing is actually probably some of the best dubbing I've ever seen in anything. Like it almost is it's hard to even tell it's dubbed. So it's really good to put on in the background if you're working. I would give it a shot.
Yeah, that's usually what stops me from watching anything foreign is the, you know, subtitles, because I'm always drawing while I watch something, almost always.
But I'm like watching that over and over again and going backwards. And there's a lot of people saying this now. There's a new, all these podcasts are popping up and like they're kind of becoming a thing now, at least on my Twitter. And like some of the things they're saying, and it's like that they're in their headlines are like, I'm kind of watching, or I'm consuming old media, not new media. That's a thing that's getting ready to happen, I think. Like I get people talking about MCU and stuff, but I feel like people are already checking out. Like I don't.
Well,
know.
no, if you look at that top 15, I think you did a video on it. You know, the top 15 streamed shows. A whole bunch of them were old. Like what was the X-Files was on there, I think, or something like old stuff was on there. It wasn't the new stuff. I mean, there was some new stuff, but
it's really weird. I'm going backwards. A lot of people are starting to go backwards. The Marvel stuff, like the Disney Marvel streaming stuff, was not their highest performing shows on Disney Plus. Like I mean, they're getting ready to cash out. I think this stuff is going to be either radically different or they're just going to pull back on it. It's just not turning on people like they want it to. Good takes or bad takes, they're never going to admit that they burned it down.
They're saying it.
I've gone from like going to the movies to watch the Marvel movies to watching them on, you know, streaming services or downloading them to now just not watching them at all.
Yeah. I've had the exact same trajectory.
Eternals, Wakanda 2, whatever that was, Black Panther 2, I haven't even bothered.
That was awful. That was abysmal.
Was it? Yeah.
It's so bad. It doesn't know what it wants to be. You could tell that they had Chadwick Boseman. Is that was the guy's name, right? No, it was the other
Yeah.
one. Whatever.
That died.
Yeah. That anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's
Wait,
already
in
died.
real life or in the movie? Like which one? Like Killmonger was the one that died in the movie. In real life, is Chadwick.
Yeah,
Killmonger
Chadwick.
was Michael
B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, no,
And
not him.
he's good. They should have used him for something like more than just a bad guy in one movie.
Well, the problem with him is he had just came off of being Human Torch in that Fantastic Four reboot nobody liked. So like that was but then that was also the problem with Chris Evans, and they made that work. So I don't know how they fucked that up, because the next Creed movie looks like shit. It doesn't have Stallone in it at all. It just doesn't look appealing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they there's a big fallout between Stallone and the Rocky franchise. The guy that actually owns it, because I guess somebody actually has it, not Stallone. It's really weird. Like it's convoluted too. Like, anyways, I'm just saying, like, I kind of wonder about Michael B. Jordan's career now, because like I don't think this new Creed movie is going to be good. And because the second one,
is it the third one? I didn't even know if I saw.
Yeah, no, it's the third one. The second one's great. The second one
is it
like,
all right,
yeah, it's like great because it follows
I
the
love
Dragos. Yeah, no, it follows the Dragos, so you kind of know what happened to Ivan, and it really, I don't know, it was Creed to me was like one of the better reboots of a franchise.
Yeah, I like the first one.
Well, the second one's a million times better than the first one.
Good.
Like you missed out if you haven't seen it. You gotta check that out. No, but he's like probably like one of the best in shape actors, like that's not a superhero right now. It's really weird.
Well, I think he's just a good actor too.
Yeah,
he's just he's one of those people that I think most people just like him from the get-go. I don't know what that is. I don't know how that happens, but
called charisma.
Charisma, the X factor.
You should try it, Bancroft.
The kids just call it Riz.
Is that what it is? I've
Riz.
heard that word. I don't.
Yeah.
I heard that word the
Like,
other
what's
day,
your
and I
Riz
thought
level.
I want to
that's what
Google that, and I was like, nah, fuck that.
But really, it
I'm
just
not gonna
means
be one of
like-
those people who has
like-
to Google the latest terms.
Yeah, it just means game. Like, what's your game? Like, do you have any game?
Here's my thing with superheroes, and people like criticize me. Why don't you just do a normal cape superhero book and crowdfund it? My fear has been this way for a while. Is like eventually the superhero stuff is, when I see I don't know what it's like in Australia, but when I see a plumber drive down the street, there's not like a little Mario guy or a plunger. It's a fucking superhero on the side of the van. Like if it's an electrician, it's a superhero on the side of the van. It's like,
Electro Man, call now.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm a little afraid that this whole superhero thing is going to be like Westerns. Like, oh, remember back when there were all these Western movies and it was a thing to be cowboys and Indians? I'm a little bit afraid that that's eventually going to happen.
Well, do you think that they're done? Like, do you think there's superhero stories that people can tell that are really going to blow people away, or do you think superheroes are just like they're just done?
So the thing the thing that bothers me about that is how well The Boys did. Like that last season,
because that's complete deconstruction.
Yeah, that's where it's like, do we have to go there to make this even interesting anymore? Or everything's a trope or whatever. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know if this is going to be popular in Comicscape, but I've been checked out of new superheroes for a long time. That's just me. That's my personal take. Like, it wasn't superhero comics that brought me back into comic books. And when I started watching Zach again, the stuff that I was, I started buying comics again. It was more like the other stuff that wasn't superhero stuff that got me back into it. I know there's obviously a lot of people who still love them a lot, but I think you might be onto something. Like, superheroes had a big boom at the movies, but if you think about it, it was actually the boom of Iron Man and Captain America. Batman will always be Batman. Spider-Man. But wasn't really that many others that knocked everyone's socks off. And a lot of the ones that sort of came out of nowhere and was successful, like Guardians of the Galaxy, is not what I would consider traditional superhero fare. It was a bit more like James Gunn weirdness.
Yeah.
Even Thor is and Doctor Strange are a little not what I would, they're not Superman-esque, or maybe Thor is a little bit, but
well, a lot of the momentum and a lot of people, we've gotten so far off of it that you have to really go back and clear your palette and go back and look. But that first Iron Man movie was like Stan Winston and cool looking robot suit coming at you. It wasn't necessarily a superhero. And then the first Captain America movie was all set during World War II, and it was very in the trenches on the ground, gunplay. Like the scenery was all completely not very superhero-y, right? Bulky combat suit he had on, nothing like form-fitting, except for that goofy suit when he did the whatever commercial thing or whatever to buy bonds. That was a gag. But for the most part, it was a very military combat suit with some color in it. I mean, and then you get to Thor and it's like, oh, it's all colorful and we are gods. And now we have these armor plating, rubbery looking suit things. My point is that they never, the Marvel, at least the MCU stuff, never really came out the gate in tights and capes and standing superhero landing shots and all that. It was kind of fresh. Now the Spider-Man stuff had been there, but Spider-Man is probably the most unique superhero in the sense of poses, his abilities, the swinging through the city. I mean, every other superhero flies,
Spider-Man and Batman are completely ubiquitous in culture. They're their own. They have their own momentum. Every kid has a Spider-Man pillowcase and a Batman lunchbox. So it's they're special cases.
But the problem I think the MCU stuff has now is everything looks derivative. Every costume looks like it's the same dude sewed it. Every special effect nothing looks special because it just looks standard. All their suits look the same. Why does Ant-Man's suit look like it's done up by the same guy that does Falcon's suit? I don't understand this. None of it makes sense to me.
And I think that's what happened. What's happening is they thought, oh, okay, so Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel L. Jackson, and who was the guy who played Captain America?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. It was, people were going to see them and that. And they thought, oh, superheroes are really popular, so we can just use this formula and make Riri Williams and Miss Marvel and even Captain Marvel to an extent, and it's not working. It's just I think the tank is out of gas, and it's showing. These numbers coming out of Phase 4 is just, it's pretty abysmal.
Well, so in comics, this was always an issue, especially with DC Comics and Marvel, whenever they come around to reboot, is every big turn, and DC was doing this a lot. They would do Crisis, The Blackest Night, into Brightest Day. And every time they would get it, it was always weird because they were always a lot of pressure, big sales, we got to make people happy. But Dan always wanted to bait people into the next big event. He couldn't just give you an ending to a big event and let you go as a happy customer. And I like Dan, but it was he thought it was a failure if they did a weekly series and it didn't lead you into other books. Even if that weekly series was a big selling thing for DC, he just didn't see the payoff because you got to get them into the other book. The problem with that, and that's what Marvel's doing with everything they're doing now, that's their technique, is every jumping on point is a jumping off point. And a lot of people, including myself, and it sounds like you guys, have jumped off the MCU train. And even if something comes around the corner, if I have to go back and watch not just 3 bad movies, but if I have to go back and watch 3 bad movies and She-Hulk and Moon Knight and all of this shit that I skip out on to watch one good movie, elf it. I'm done. Like, I'm probably not going to come back for a good movie because I have to go watch all this other crap. You know, that right now that they're chalking up like L's that people have to swim through just to get to something good if they do pull something good out. So I don't know. I the more bad stuff that they're putting out, the harder it is to ever to have a hit. Even if they do have a hit, it could go unappreciated.
What you're describing sounds so much like how the comic industry operates, and you just explained that is how the comic book industry operates. And it's like, oh, we had this, you know, multi-billion-dollar worldwide phenomena that, you know, just completely reshaped the movies for over a decade. Let's just shelve that and instead do what they did in the comics. And because that's what got me out of comics. I was like, I read Spider-Man and I read Ghost Rider. That was it. I was happy. And now, you know, I'm okay. They're doing all these events. So now I got to go buy West Coast Avengers if I want to follow
bullshit.
I mean, no, I don't want to do this. I did that a couple of times. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. Yeah, you like they completely redid essentially with the whole, what was it called with Kang, the sacred timeline.
Yeah,
like that pretty much redid the whole MCU. Okay, this is like, it's been completely reframed now, but you wouldn't know that unless you watched Loki.
I have only watched like half of Loki, so like,
yeah, so people don't know that, so they're like, all right, I guess, I don't know, whatever, checked out.
And for people who don't know, Kang is kind of like to me, was an easy pass. Like, I never got into Kang, and I was a huge Marvel nut, and I loved all the bad guys. I liked the way Kang looked, but every time I tried to read a Kang story, I was like, ugh. I was just kind of out. Like, I have never really seen success with that bad guy. I'm sure somebody's going to yell at me that there's some great Avengers run he was in or something, but to me, it's just kind of confusing.
I liked him, but yeah, he is very a lot of those characters are like, they're really, you know, everyone's the smartest person in the universe, and they can do all these things, and it's all a bit vague. And but I mean, I liked him well enough, but yeah, I don't know. I much would prefer that they were basing this whole thing around Doctor Doom, but
yeah,
I think that's their end game. That's actually what they're going to wrap with, and if they do it too soon, then they're going to have absolutely nothing 10 years from now.
Well, I just did a short on this interview with the writer of Ant-Man, and he's like, he was sort of jokingly saying, oh yeah, you know, we'll figure it out. And like, I don't know if he was joking or whatever, it doesn't matter. But the thing that shocked me was he was like, where they're going to do the same thing that they did with Endgame. So at the end of Phase 6, they're going to have that big event, like the Endgame Infinity War double movie thing. Maybe that'll be Kang and Doom and everyone else, whatever. But he said there's still 40 movies until we get there. I was like, 40 movies? Like, you're struggling out of the gate to get people to watch the first one, and you're talking about 40. I mean, it's not the same. When Iron Man launched, it was all right, this could be a setup if we need it to be, but let's just focus on making one great self-contained movie now.
Yeah.
And that's why it became this big success. And it's like, okay, well, if it is a big success, which is what it was, we can use that as a launching pad to all this other stuff. And they did. But now they're like, all right, every movie is just one part of a friggin' 40 movie arc. Like, that's pretty presumptuous that there's going to be everyone, you know, sticking around until the end of Phase 6 and paying attention to all these different movies and TV shows. And
it's funny, though, there was this term, I think I brought it up in a video or a live stream, but people used to, in the comic industry, refer to the Marvel zombie like DC would especially. They're like, oh, they got the Marvel zombies, and there was this. They didn't mean like the book Marvel Zombies. They meant literally like the fans are just zombies, and they're mindless, and they'll buy anything that's Marvel, like to some extent that they had that cooked in base, and it's almost like they're still pretending that's the situation with some of this. Like, I don't even know if I would kick off a new phase whatever with Ant-Man. Like, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Like, I don't.
Well, it was supposed to be the end of Phase 4, not the beginning of Phase 5. So I think that was.
Is that better or worse?
What's that?
Is that better or worse?
I think they're just trying to move the ball along. I think they're like, oh, you know what? We got kind of held up back here, and let's just start. We got to get Kang, because they know how bad the marketing was for Phase 4. They know how the bad taste it left in everyone's mouth. So they were like, all right, this is the beginning of Phase 5. Everyone go watch. This is the new thing. We're going to introduce Kang. Right. He's the new baddie, and that's why they did it like that.
Don't they have Galactus at this point? Like, what the fuck are they doing?
No, they don't have him or the X-Men until 2025.
Oh, they don't own the rights.
Yeah, that's why everything is middling right now. Because it's still under contract with Fox. So right now, doesn't matter. It's still Fox is still its own little thing. It's the actors that have the contracts with them. So they have to wait until all those are up.
Sounds like a clusterfuck.
It's a total clusterfuck, yeah.
And with again, you cannot replace Robert Downey Jr. You cannot replace. Yes, I've forgotten his name already.
Yes, no, you can with Riri Williams. What's wrong with you? Don't you have any tolerance, Michael Bancroft?
My tolerance is done. I always wonder, you do these videos and you're like, people are gonna, they're just gonna think you're some raging lunatic, because they never heard these arguments before. But it's like, shit, you got to say this. Like, this is not good enough. It's not gonna work. It's not interesting to anyone. And just saying it's never gonna. Man, it's never gonna make. You ain't gonna make it.
They're saying it's officially March 1st.
This is mesmerizing, Camel.
I don't know if you're being facetious or
guys. I don't think
I'm impressed. I'm like, are you just? This is all just you're just like winging it. You just I'll put this here, or have you planned this out?
No, I'm just making it up as I go along.
You Australians don't understand the importance of February, do you?
In what way?
It's Black History Month. We just got out of it.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's why the chat was bringing it up.
Right, okay. Yeah, no, we don't really.
It's not really over, though. It's over. It's over once the Oscars are over, because that's always like Black History, pushed.
It's like DC Comics had Pride Month, but it turned out to be Pride Year.
Pride ongoing.
Pride never ending.
That's also the problem also with superhero stuff. To me, is we have, as a genre, you have no control over it. I mean, it's really up to Marvel and DC to drive it into the ground. Like who? I mean, like they have such a toehold on it that they can really just pull it up under the the water.
Well, as well, like going on to the Pride thing. So Mel is not familiar with the story of The Last of Us. Right. So she's watching it, cold now. And so she didn't know that Ellie, spoiler alert, in case anyone hasn't watched it.
Oh, fuck.
Is
seriously? Jeez,
is into chicks.
Okay, so that's canon, though. Hang on, that's canon. And that's something nobody talks about. Like, nobody talks about the events of that. So there was this whole thing with Elliot Page. Now, what did I just fuck up? Well, Elliot Page.
Well, Ellen. It was Ellen.
Ellen Page at the time. Yeah. So the Ellie looked a lot like that person, and that person acted like they were going to sue, but at the same time, that person had a video game that they were starring in with Sony at the same time, and it's so weird when that DLC came out that Ellie was gay because it was a patch, like a buy some extra content on the game because they were delayed on Last of Us 2. It was all about her character being gay. Like
so that wasn't in the first game.
It was a patch and an expansion to the first game.
Because that's the thing. Like I didn't remember that, but I thought, or maybe it was just because it was so long ago. But I knew that it was still canon in the video game.
Here's the thing: Ellen came out and said she was gay like the same day that patch dropped. It was so weird. Like it's almost like it's like, well, it can't be coincidence, but then it's like the fuck. And
either way, so I knew that was coming, but Mel didn't. So she's watching it. They've already had the Bill and Frank thing, and now it's just, and you know what it's like. Like every single TV show now has not just one, like multiple gay characters now. It's just like again, like every single time. And that's what I'm saying. It's like it gets to the point where you're like, when you start complaining about this, now you just like people go, oh, you're just a homophobe, because it's like, you know, it's all you're talking about. But it's like it's happening every single time, even if it is canon. It's like it's ubiquitous now. It's everywhere. And yeah, like I was waiting for Mel to be like, oh really? Like, and I was like, just wait. There can't be two female characters who were just, really best friends. There's going to be some kissing coming.
Here's an interesting point. I think they're right. Zed, before the DLC, she was hetero. She had a love interest that was a boy that was killed. And then the DLC came, and basically it was a flashback and made her gay.
Flashbacks will do that.
Yeah. I don't know. But it is weird. You can't not like something organically, like anymore, or it's like you're phobic or whatever.
Yeah. It's it's just,
that girl is annoying as crap in that show, though. The game's actually good and the story's good in the game. The first game. I can't watch this show. Does Mel like it at least?
She liked it, and I was, I've been chatting with Jeremy and the gang, and they're really kind of turned against it. And,
I tuned out after that episode with the gay guys, not because they're gay, because of the fact that they had a whole fucking episode and they both died and was pointless.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, they did their thing. It was I maintain it was still like well written television. I don't know why they did it. Like, I don't know why it had to be part of the show, because it didn't do anything. And I thought that's like a really lazy way of them getting their battery that they needed for their truck. But then the next episode, it was gone. The truck was gone. So it was like, well, what was the whole point? So there was no point. So I'm like, okay, well, that was pretty bad. That's bad storytelling.
The point is to create a litmus test, so that now we've established who this show is for. And now if it starts to fail, we know who to point the fingers at. And if you have a problem with that, then you're racist, you're sexist, you're a bigot, et cetera, et cetera. And so now they're writing it into the script. It's not good enough that it's part of the marketing anymore. Now it has to actually be in there so you can point to it. And then they can, isolate it and say, like, this was the episode that drove alt-right, because it's never just conservatives, it's alt-right people, QAnon conspiracy theorist people off the wall.
And that girl, that's so true, because that girl in the new episode where she kisses Ellie, she came out, I think, as the episode was airing, to say, if you're a homophobe and you don't like this kind of content, don't watch the show. No one had, as far as I've found, no one had said anything. I pay pretty close attention now.
That was the same thing with Obi-Wan And I remember even asking people, and I was like, "Wait, what happened?" And they'd say, "Oh, well, people are upset because there's a black woman in this, and they're racist." And I was like, "Oh, okay. What are the comments?" And like, "Oh, well, they've all been deleted." I was like, "Oh, well, that's convenient. Can you show me one?" No, that it was too bad. Can you tell me one that someone said that you remember? There was nothing. It's a lot easier to just fucking memory hold the whole thing and forget about it.
What this happened though? Maybe it was Obi-Wan, or maybe it was something else. But was that the same? Maybe it was Obi-Wan, where the actor said she had life-threatening DMs, but then there's no evidence.
That was Obi-Wan. Yeah,
that was Obi-Wan. Okay.
No one heard of it. No one saw it. No, it wasn't on 4chan. Like you couldn't find it to save your life.
Dude, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fans there, but I've spent a lot of money on Star Wars stuff, like Boba Fett stuff mainly. That show ruined. I won't even buy anything with Boba Fett anymore. Like I moved. I never unpacked my Hot Toys Boba Fett action figure. If I could sell it, I would. I have
you mean?
Whatever. Anyways, I just can't. Because of that horrible Boba Fett show, like, I mean, it ruined a lifelong customer, like buying a Pez dispenser to whatever, a Hot Wheels car of Slave One, or they could deck it out. Just put Boba Fett's picture on it, and I'd buy it. Like, I don't know the effects. Like, it's so weird too. Like, if you end up with like one crazy conglomerate company that buys a franchise and ruins that one franchise, it's an effing nightmare. They start buying up every franchise, and then they have the same effects. And it's like, I mean, at some point, the president comes in and they have to go through, when a company like Disney wants to buy Fox or whatever, they have to be checked out in the United States as being a monopoly, right? And it's like, I thank God they do that, but they should have really stopped it. Like, I think some of these companies shouldn't have been able to acquire everything. Like, I think like they really should have like hit the brakes on it. I know people are like, well, that's not fair. It's like, no, because these franchises, I mean, they're just getting slaughtered. I mean, they don't have a great track record, Disney. Like, I mean, they bought Marvel because they wanted that demographic. They had relaunched Tron, and they were even planning to do a Tron 3. And they stopped it because they bought Marvel, because they were like, well, that's the same demographic. Why do we need to do the Tron stuff anymore? We're just going to go all in on Marvel and put all our resources there. And now they're effing that up. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're going to do Tron 3 again. It's like, why? Because you obviously knew you blew the vein. Like, that's why. Like, it's weird too. It's like they don't course correct when they have a failure. They don't go, hey, maybe we're really effing this up. Let's pull back. Let's stop. I mean, can you imagine there's an Obi-Wan TV show, Darth Vader's in it, and nobody gave a shit?
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah,
it was awful.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
I couldn't have been a bigger Star Wars fan. I just don't see how I could have been. I literally was taken to Empire Strikes Back as an infant. It's been part of my life since forever. I read dozens and dozens of the books. Obviously I went to all the theatrical releases, all the stuff. I've still got Lego and shit all over this place. And I did not watch the Obi-Wan TV show with Darth Vader in it, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it.
There's a generation of
mind-blowing.
There's a generation of fans out there that just like that episode 1, 2, and 3 Clone Saga stuff, right? That show should have been bulletproof. It should have been old Star Wars fans and that other generation. Like, it should have just like, and I don't know how they effed up, because they effed up. This is the thing. They messed up before that show even premiered, because I was already out. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, even if Obi-Wan was awesome, I wouldn't have watched it. Like, it would have took so many people telling me, you have to watch this, you have to come back to it. And I'm not talking like all of my friends and family. I mean, like, the whole internet would have had to come together and say,
this was the greatest thing ever. Like, this is completely reinvigorated the franchise, it would have to be at that level. Well, and they're doing the same thing they're going to do the same thing to Lord of the Rings. And I don't know, like, again, another franchise. I shouldn't say that because I called that out. Another work that they want to turn into a franchise. Actually said that Warner Brothers said, we want to turn Lord of the Rings into a franchise like Star Wars. Like, have you not seen Star Wars lately? Why would you do that? But I guess.
But I mean, that's like, it comes back to what you guys were talking about earlier. Like, what are you meant to do? Are you meant to talk about it? Are you meant to boycott it? Because it doesn't, in the end, it doesn't really matter, because even if it tanks, they'll just move on to the next thing that you like and destroy that, and then move on to the next thing you like and destroy that. So what can you actually do?
Well, they're not going to destroy the Lucent because I'm not going to sell it to them. So that's all. I'll just hold on to that.
They'll try,
and that's what I'll have. I don't know. There's nothing you can do. It's just, I guess you can just keep calling it out, and then
just be miserable. Sure, easy. I can do that.
I mean, there's always the old stuff, like Shane just said, and you can always go back. Like people are saying like buy physical too, because now they're changing everything. There's that's happening now. They're taking offense. They've got sensitivity readers going through the classics now. That's coming to Tolkien too, by the way.
Yeah, they're going to go through and edit everything. Like, I mean, every copy, every book, every DVD. Like, you need to keep the copies you have. Like, can you imagine in our near future we're going to be like, oh, you have a first edition, not because it's the first edition, but because you have an unedited edition. Oh my God, that's worth so much money. Like, that's ridiculous, right? Like, think about that. Like, that'll become the new collectible, is the unedited version.
You have to sell them on like the dark web because eBay won't allow you or something.
Allow you.
Like, that's got like the N word in it. You can't sell that. So that's what it'll be too.
It's so weird. Entertainment is such at a threat, but then at the same time, like, and this comes back to comics, it's like, well, why is manga thriving? Because they don't like conform to this type of standard in a weird way. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I understand. Yeah, I brought this up years ago, like on Ethan's channel. I pulled up Chainsaw Man. I was like, it was selling out. I still to this day, I have a copy. I haven't read it. I haven't watched the cartoon. And he was like, what is this gay shit? And it's on a stream. And I go, I don't know, but we don't have the balls in America anymore to strap chainsaws to something's arms. Like,
and face.
No, that's it. That's it. I'm like, I said, look at that. That used to be Wolverine. And now it's some high school kid in Japan with chainsaws coming out of his arms. I'm like, it's that simple. It's like, it's cool. It cuts things. It's why I'm sure there's some effed up story, or I don't know. I don't really even care. I haven't read it, but it's just like, dude, we don't come up with new characters like that. And that's part of the problem, is like, some of it's balls and some torque or whatever you want to call it. But like, we just don't, I don't know. Like, we're like in a creative rut in this country in general, I think.
How do you think
you guys are in Australia? I'm sorry. I'm acting like you guys are American.
Well, entertainment wise, it's pretty much America. That's like, we have some Australian stuff here, but it's not really.
Yeah, no one watches.
It's always one-off stuff. It's not really like this.
I mean, how is this going to inspire the rebuild of DC, the DCU? Like,
well,
what out of these?
DC's like, so no, they're so screwed. Like, that's why that Batman movie's called Brave and the Bold, is because there's over branding. Like, there's so, like, and it's convoluted. Like, right now they're, hey, Michael Keaton Batman's back, and then there's, the great Batman trilogy Nolan did that people still like, and then there's the Batman flick thing or whatever, and then there's the R-Pat's Batman. It's like they're gonna have a hard time selling Batman to the point that they're gonna lean into just Damian Wayne, and that's gonna not go over too great, I don't think. you know. So I don't know. Like I think they've overbranded Batman in a weird way. It's
It'll
just
also be the first time they've officially put Robin in a movie since Batman and Robin.
I don't know if people will care. I mean I
Well,
know that.
my point being is that if he comes off as a villain, which is, you know, then it's like, wow, so like even the latest of generations isn't even getting a decent Robin.
Yeah, that's true.
I am not interested in this at all. If it comes through and you know it's good, I like the first Batman movie. I like the Joker. I'm not really interested in anything else. I don't know any of these things. I know of them. I know of Swamp Thing and of the Lanterns, but I was never a DC guy, so I don't know what any of this stuff is. So I'm not interested. But if it's like that point where it's like, oh, this movie is really good, you got to watch this. I'll check it out eventually. Like what's happening though, I think much more interesting, and you're not going to see it in this format because it's all different companies making it. This is happening right now in video games. Like every major AAA video game that you can know of has something either being like in production or being planned. Like the, you know, whatever is God of War movie, Gears of War, Call of Duty, whatever it is. Like that's all happening. I'm so much more interested in that because I think they're that much more likely to be standalone things, their own pocket universes where you'll actually have so much more of a chance to get a real movie where you're not, you know, it's not contingent on all this other stuff. And on top of that, like, there are Waller fans, there are Creature Commandos, there are Authority fans out there, I'm sure. But like they'd probably be in the tens of thousands. You know, Call of Duty fans, hundreds of millions. So like I think they have that much more of a justification to actually invest some real talent into this stuff. So I'm and again, I don't play video games, but I know a lot of people love them, so they must be pretty good. I'm interested in that way much more than this stuff, and that's coming from I grew up reading comics, but this stuff, I don't know.
I think I just don't. People watch John Wick and stuff like that. I mean, I think because I like the first movie, I don't adore the other ones. Like it's just okay, but there's a reason everybody likes it, and that's because they don't have to. It's really not tied to a million other things. It's real simple. Like it does have a complicated little universe and some rules and some, you know, organizations that the character has to play by. When I see that, like I look at that like you're asking a lot of time and money from me in the future, and I don't know, like, you know, like I don't understand why this even looks like a smart way to advertise something. Like
it wasn't how they advertised the MCU originally.
No, I know,
they didn't do this.
But they did that at the heat of leading up to something. They didn't start the MCU out like that. They did it.
That's exactly right. Like you could get to the point with Infinity War and then show this and say, look what you've already. Look, it's all connected. Did you pick all that up? Did you understand the Tesseract and everything? It was all Thanos the whole time. You didn't know. Oh, this is great. Now come and watch one movie, Infinity War.
You know who I would put this together for? Like if I was DC Comics, I would be showing this to shareholders. I wouldn't be showing this to audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be saying like, here's all the stuff and you're going to come watch. But you have to start here with this Shazam movie that looks like audiences aren't excited for, and that the testing is going to probably be like one of the lowest like premiere DC superhero movies. Like it might be lower than the first movie or something. Like it might be lower than Black Adam. And it's like, so we're going to start there and then Flash and whatever. And then we'll get to the new shit that, okay. And then it's one thing to ask some guy that goes to the movie. This is another thing that kills me. It's one thing to ask the guy that goes to the movies for 2 hours to put together a story. Okay. Then you have to go watch an HBO series to understand the Authority movie. And you got to watch all this shit in this order. And you have to go cross-platform. I mean, 2 hours versus what, like 12 episodes? Was it 12 hours? Maybe 8 episodes, 8 hours, just for one story point. It's like that's a lot.
It's very forced. It's not organic, which is why I think they're trying to redo something that it just happened. You can't they're trying to go back. Like you can't remake the circumstances that brought about the MCU. Just like you can't remake Star Wars. It happened. It can't be done again. You can't just make space battles and it'll be as big as Star. It's not going to work. You've got to be fresh and new and daring and do something that people weren't expecting.
I just can't believe they're kicking this off with Creature Commandos, which is an animated series, and then Waller. Like, who's going to be excited for that?
No one. Everything. I mean, everything that you see is the way it was going to be, irrespective of this universe reset. They're just doing that there so they don't have to rely so much on having to follow rules. But all of these products and projects were ready to go. I mean, this Aquaman was ready to go. This Blue Beetle was ready to go. So, I mean, they'll still come out, and I think what I suspect will happen is after the Flash does incredible numbers, they're gonna redo the entire thing, and they're just like, okay, we're gonna do another Keaton Batman. We're gonna put this in there. Some of this stuff will slowly just kind of whisk away, and we'll be like, oh yeah, remember they were gonna do that, and it'll just it'll amount to a special on HBO Go, and that'll be about the end of it.
You think?
But what you see here, I will put $1 million down. Is not what's going to happen.
Do you think Flash is going to do big numbers?
I think Flash is going to hit $2 billion.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with Ezra Miller in it.
The majority of people don't know about that. They really don't.
But he just looks like a douchebag.
Shut up. You're not making any sense. The thing is Keaton is going to sell this thing. And that's it. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And you're going to see numbers in there that are going to just knock it out of the water. I mean, maybe not 2 billion, maybe 1.6, 1.7, but it's going to be big enough that they're going to look at this whole slate and they're going to be like, all right, this isn't going to work. We got to redo this.
Yeah, I think it'll probably do well. I don't guess, but I think it'll do well just by what I'm seeing out there, people saying about it. People are pretty pumped about it. They liked the trailer. They thought it was really good.
Well, here's the thing: no matter what it does, it's always going to be important because they're going to say but they're always going to say it did well because it's going to be the switching tracks. Like that movie's there as like a rewrite into new continuity. So they're just going to say it did well, whether it did or didn't. Like it won't matter. Like if it does well, they're always going to praise it because it's the staple. It's I don't know. It's what's going to hold together the old shit with the new shit they're doing. It's the transition movie.
They did that with Black Adam too. Like they said, it did amazing when it didn't do as good as what they thought.
Well, some of that was just to save face. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, they lied. But this one, it can't fail. Like they'll always say it did well, like the company, but I just don't think it'll do the numbers. I think you're too optimistic on it a little bit. Like I get the Keaton thing. I could see Keaton old school Batman fans. They have to start advertising that now. Like, I mean,
they are.
Woodcover isn't enough. They are, but here's a dyke flying in through the air too. It's like Ezra Miller looks creepy as fuck and nobody cares. The costume still looks fucking ridiculous on him. Like, you have to get through all of that and there's Keaton Batman. It's like, I don't know, man. That's like, I don't know. It's like
I think you'll be surprised how thirsty these people are.
Here's a question for you, Camel. Do normies even care about Keaton? That was a long time ago.
Yes, they do. Especially if you find out at the end of the movie that Bale is in it, which is rumored.
That who's in it? Sorry,
Bale.
Christian Bale. That just sounds super gay. That even makes me not want to see it.
Yeah, well, I think about it like this, right? When the Spider-Man whatever the last one was, Going Home, whatever it was
Homecoming, yeah.
Home again, and
Homeward
up
Bound.
again. Yeah.
That movie broke records too, and that was like even Marvel didn't expect it to do as well as it did. And what was the most surprising thing about that was, and I was in the theater when this happened, the amount of people that were cheering and screaming when Andrew Garfield showed back up on the screen. Like, I always thought he was just a noble. Like, who cares about fucking Andrew Garfield? Well, there's millions and millions of people who that is their Spider-Man, for better or worse. Yeah. And I think that you're gonna see, after decades. I mean, I know guys in their 20s and 30s who still think Batman the Animated Series is the best Batman movie. They still think Michael Keaton's the best Batman. Like, they didn't grow up with this, but it became theirs because of just the industry and osmosis and all these other things. So I think
people my age, like Keaton was probably my first real introduction to Batman, other than the Adam West. I don't know if that was anyone's favorite TV show. Certainly, you probably watched it or whatever. But like I was pretty obsessed with 89 Batman at the time. So, I mean, member berries sell. They sell big time. I suspect it's going to be a pretty big deal for people to see Batman on the screen. I know, like, I was the same, actually. Like, when what was the second prequel Star Wars movie came out? Like, seeing Yoda fight.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones, seeing Vader in Rogue One, I was pretty wowed by that at the time. So yeah, it was. I think it's going to matter to people. I don't know if it matters to me as much anymore, but I'm pretty jaded. But I think like most people, normies, if you want to call them that, are going to be pretty excited to see it.
Aquaman did 1.14 billion, which is surprising. But like, you look at the last couple of movies, Suicide Squad. 169 million.
So I tried Suicide Squad, and again, I want to say this as a complete DC normie. I couldn't watch either of them. I tried. I really tried because people love them, and it's like it was weird. It was weird. It looked weird. Everyone acted weird. It didn't come across like as a good movie. It was
one?
It just
the first one or the
both of them.
Yeah,
both of them.
Fucking shit house.
I couldn't do them, and this is coming as a complete normie. So I'm not surprised to hear that it didn't resonate with crowds that are not really into comic books.
None of the last 5 movies have broken 400 million, and majority of them.
I think they've been pretty rudderless though for a while. Like, I think that's what this whole James Gunn thing is about, that they're being completely rudderless.
I think they hired him to end it. I think they're like, here, this is a blank check, just fucking destroy it all. Give us a reason. I know how ridiculous that sounds, but I would be surprised if any of what he's doing actually succeeds. Especially after, the response that last Suicide Squad movie got.
That was fucking terrible.
What was the response? Like, some people said they liked it, but
it was pretty middling. It was very 50-50. Like, some people thought it was great. Other people thought it was goofy, which it is kind of goofy.
I mean, if you don't have the knowledge of the comics, a giant starfish killing things is just fucking stupid.
Oh, it was like a fever dream to me. Mel and I looked at each other at one point. Mel was on the phone. She was like, I'm turning this off. She's like, I don't care. It was goofy. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of, it's dinner time for me, so be over 2 hours.
No, you got to stay.
You want to if you want to keep going?
I'm
just building my Lego set. So.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
going to head off, fellas. Are you going to end the show, or are you going to keep going?
What do you guys want to do? You want to keep going, or you want to call it?
That's up to you, Rob. I'm good for a little bit, but
you guys hang out. You guys.
Yeah, me and Rob aren't to hang out.
I'll just call it then.
Sorry, Shane.
Yeah.
Keep going. Call it. What do you want me to do?
No,
Perth
call it.
wants you to keep. I think
mean,
keep
Rob,
going. Keep going.
Rob,
Rob.
we
You haven't
don't
been. You haven't
have a
streamed in a
lot
while.
Rob,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't have a lot in common. Don't worry. Call it.
We
We
don't
both have a child. Talk about
Yeah.
having a kid.
I like
That's
watching.
not
I
enough
like
to bring-
watching fighting. You
It's
like to
like-
fight.
Good luck.
I love Camel's Irish goodbyes. I wish I had that kind of gumption. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it was good hanging out with you, Rob. I'm glad you escaped death.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks, man. All right. Well, I'm gonna end it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Shane. Mike, you don't know what happened because you were too busy talking. We broke the record.
100 viewers.
We've got 107 people in here right now.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Perfect time.
Go
in
buy
America.
the Lucent, go buy Inglorious Rex, and go sign up for Replicator 4. How about that?
Yeah. Rob, in America, in this country, it's customary to say thank you when somebody brings you that many viewers.
I did. I said thank you for coming on.
Joking. I'm joking.
There's always a bit of truth to every joke.
You ever no that was Jack Nicholson and when he's doing the trade with the Chinese guys over the chips and The Departed. He's like, in this country it's customary. Nobody remembers
too long
that
since I've seen that movie.
Departed? Yeah. All right.
My beautiful dark twisted faggotry says, wait, Shane, is it cut or
It's nobody's business, that poll, and everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick of it.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this is.
Angela Curry, I know you're sick. Angela Curry paid good money to a bad midget to ask me that on stream, and it won't stop.
Oh, see, that's what happens when I'm away. You didn't tell me this, Bancroft. You didn't warn me about this.
I forgot about this drama. All right.
See, Campbell gets the reference. He says, "No ticky, no laundry."
No ticky, no landy.
No landy.
He should have stayed around to.
He would have got my joke. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What an idiot. All right.
Oh no, I do remember that. No ticky. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, it's been a long. That was a great movie
in this country.
I need to rewatch that. I feel like
it's a good movie. That movie is solid.
It's just very heavy.
Yeah, it is very heavy. But the reason it's heavy is it was originally a Chinese drama. It was originally a TV show in another country. No bullshit.
All the best things usually are. You find that out. Like,
we're ending it.
All right.
Okay.
See you guys.
Stupid sexy Flanders.